Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst, distinguished Naija wife, Vimbai Mutinhiri Ekpeyon. Good morning, Vimbai.
Where am I getting this presidential handshake?
Everyone is getting a presidential handshake from Rufai this morning.
Is it so we don't mention the association he belongs to? No way, I'm not going to mention the Chronic Bachelors Association. Why would I mention the Bachelors Association? There's no way I would mention the Bachelors Association.
Well, you just mentioned
Good
it
morning.
3 times.
How did I do that?
Good morning,
guy. Good morning, Dr. Afati.
Good morning.
All right. Let's get straight into it. So many great conversations on the program this morning, as always. So, of course, I want to start by commending you for the great work that you're doing. Let's get straight into the newspaper review. We kick off with our very own This Day publication. As always, of course, so much robust conversation already about the budget, but that is the main topic of our day today. This day also leads Tinubu signs 28.7 trillion naira budget elated by 100 billion approved for school feeding nationwide. Just above that, PDP knocks budget, says it's harvest of deceit, empty claims, and describes Tinubu's New Year's address as admission of failure. Labour dismisses his speech as arrogant display of dishonesty. Atiku, FG's commitment to eliminate security threat will stem attacks in Nigeria. So that's where we are on the front page of This Day. We quickly move on to the Daily Trust. Again, it's all about the budget. Of course, you know, this is one of the biggest developments so far this year and will impact each and every one of us. The Daily Trust. The Daily Trust is leading with the headline, Experts Set Agenda for Government as Tinubu Signs 2024 Budget. NECA urges fiscal discipline. LCCI wants action on inflation, social inequality. And just to take a very quick quote, the LCCI, of course, highlighted several aspects of the budget and ended with, however, specific strategies to address these issues were not mentioned, leaving room for concerns about the impact on citizens. Very quickly as well, just below the masthead of the Daily Trust left-hand corner, issues that shaped the 10th National Assembly in 2023. So this is according to the Daily Trust. They say high legislative turnover was one of the key issues, as 70% of the lawmakers in the House are first-time lawmakers. Leadership tussles, impeachment rumors, tribunal verdicts, SUV controversy. According to Daily Trust, those were the biggest conversations that took place in the NAS for 2023. We move quickly to The Guardian. Of course, it's still about the budget. Deficit execution concerns over expanded 28.8 trillion budget. And same goes with The Punch. The Punch, however, leading with Tinubu's New Year broadcast, APC defends FG as Labour warns against failed promises. Now, that takes me to The Nation, off of the back of the conversation we're having about the president's address and the budget. The Nation says PDP, Labour Party in battle over opposition role. Now, this is all about the battle going on between the PDP and the Labour Party about who is Nigeria's main opposition. As my sister Oji would say, these are the issues. These are the issues. To Vanguard, very quickly. Now, this is a completely different conversation, which I hope we can delve into. Plateau attacks. Groups slam the Chief of Army Staff on why Nigerians can't bear arms. So the Middle Belt Forum, Afenifere, JNI, PANDEF have kicked back because they feel that Nigerians, given in the face of such attacks, should be allowed to carry sophisticated weaponry in order to defend themselves. Of course, Lieutenant General Latif Lagbaja said allowing people to bear arms to defend themselves against attacks might lead to anarchy. So this is a conversation reopened about gun regulations. We all know that in 2019, the executive order by the former President Buhari was signed to remove, revoke, and banish all firearms certificates on licenses throughout Nigeria. It looks like these Plateau Christmas Eve attacks have reopened a conversation about citizens bearing arms. And if you remember, over the years, years, it's not a new conversation. Former Governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom, also advocated for community policing to be allowed to bear AK-47s during his tenure. So, a conversation is being opened now about gun regulations here at home. Very quickly, internationally, we head to the New York Times. New York Times is leading with a story about Rikers Island. Of course, that is a notorious prison in New York, which is now, the conditions there are being said to be deteriorating as it's housing more and more mentally ill inmates who are attacking the prison officers. So that's a big story there. However, what I want to focus on at the New York Times, it says for 2024, experts state debates over AI, gender, and firearms will lead as Americans have engaged in fierce disagreement over gender expression and sexual orientation, the costs and reach of racism, and the danger and opportunity presented by rapid technological advancement. State legislatures have been one of the most visible and influential arenas for these debates. So I just want to juxtapose that to the report by Daily Trust, which is saying the key issues in our own National Assembly were leadership tussles, impeachment rumors, tribunal verdicts, SUV controversy. However, America is saying that for 2024, the key issues are AI, gender, and firearms. That's what the new front papers from all around the world are looking like.
So let me speak on firearm a bit. Truth has to be said. I get the Chief of Army Staff talking about people not wanting to bear. I mean, it's saying it's not right for people to bear, and because I also agree with him that it's going to lead to anarchy. Let me stretch the conversation further by saying it's also about the psyche. So I always give this thing in firearm debate between Switzerland and America. Switzerland has got about 30 guns per 100, people. America's got about 120. They've got a lot of arms. But you have more school shootings in America than in Switzerland. Also, why? Because the citizens in Switzerland are better trained, the environment very conducive, unlike America where you have prevalent problems of poverty, race, and things like that. So you have extended problems in America. So it's also about the mentality. And I would also quote Third World Cup, if you remember the movie, when Ratty says, "Guns don't kill people, man. People kill people." So it is not guns that kill people. It is people that use the gun to kill other people in the end. So I get that argument. But the Chief of Army Staff should remember that argument will always come up unless they do something to stem the tide of insecurity. So the reason people will not use those guns and turn those guns on each other in Switzerland, largely because they're trained. When you also check their crime rates, you don't hear mass killings in Switzerland. Like somebody just goes into a canton and shoots down over 200 people. But in Nigeria, we hear that in the Northeast, and it's been on for so much. And we encourage the president to go visit these people. Because many years, he didn't even acknowledge them in his New Year Day speech. The crime level is unbelievable. It's affecting all of us. It's affecting agriculture. That's why we're having inflation because of the legacy problems. Farmers can't go to the farm. 100 farmers were slaughtered in Zabamari. People were killed and slaughtered in the Northeast in Jos. Another one also happened after they wrote a letter. So it's the brazenness that shocks me. They wrote a letter that they were coming, the security agency couldn't stem the tide, people were killed. So if this continues, the conversation about bearing arms might have to be the last resort. I don't support bearing arms now, but he must do something about it. Pure and simple. We can't have this continue.
Absolutely, align with you. I was going to talk about I think Roses had talked about it. He's pro carrying firearms, and Nigeria is not ready for this. We have too many problems that would exacerbate the use of firearms because people are angry. The politics, it's just tense. I don't think it's a good idea. Yes, address the security challenges, but not firearms. But let me talk about the Japan earthquake, on the international scene, and that's cause for worry. Only yesterday, some headlines that talked about the fact that there was a warning as to a potential tsunami in Japan. Currently, 48 people are said to have died. And the Prime Minister has warned Japanese nationals to get ready for at least a week of earthquakes, and they might even hit a magnitude of 7. Just so there's attention on that currently, and hoping that the government would be able to manage the situation in terms of, in terms of climate and also natural disaster.
Well, Japan earthquake, about 80 earthquakes between Monday and yesterday. 140 tremors reported by the Japan meteorological agencies. People have died, houses have lost electricity, people have been displaced. Over 39,000 persons being relocated by the Japanese authorities. Again, we're confronted with this conflict between man and nature. The other week, last week, it was Storm Gerrit across England causing problems. So we keep having this perpetual, conflict between man and nature that has been there since the beginning of time. As to other stories, well, in Bayelsa State, Edison Ehie, who resigned as a speaker representing Ahoda in the House of Assembly, has now been appointed Chief of Staff by Governor Simi Fubara. And we're likely to see more developments in Bayelsa State as we enter the new year. Now that he has said, detractors have failed because he is still wielding the red biro. Finally, congratulations to Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, Chief of Staff, who today and tomorrow, January 2nd and 3rd, is launching 9 legacy projects in Lagos State, including a conference center, a hospital, a roundabout, a hostel at the University of Lagos. I hope other people who have had the opportunity to serve in government, either as lawmakers or in other capacities, will learn from the example of Femi Gbajabiamila, who is giving back today, in different parts of Lagos, not just in Surulere, but even as far as his alma mater, showing that the purpose is service to the people, not self-enrichment. Thank you very much.